The Ashtavakra Gita, presented by Swayam Prakash Sharma, part 15. The 15th part consists of verses 43 to 56 of chapter 80. Ashtavakra continues his discourse of natural samadhi. Chapter, verses 43 to 56. People of defective intelligence, they meditate on the pure, non-dual self or the Atma as an object. And since they meditate on the pure self as an object, they remain deluded. This prevents their intuition from soaring beyond the domain of relativities, and therefore they do not realize the self. Therefore, they do not attain the self. Because of this delusion, they remain deprived of happiness throughout their lives. The intelligence of the person who strives after liberation, taking the support of an object, it cannot rise beyond the supporting object it is meditating on, and therefore it does not attain the Atma. He seems to be unaware of the fact that the self or the Atma is without any attributes or conditions that may require the support of words and meanings, that may require the support of assertions or denials, or that may require the support of all other relativist creations and experiences. The self or the Atma goes beyond the cobwebs of all relative thinking. The meditation that is objectless, that meditation is beyond all relativities. And that meditation abolishes the distinction of the triad of the meditative subject, of the object of meditation, and meditation. In objectless meditation, there is no difference whatsoever between the meditative subject, the object of meditation, and meditation itself. The person who is of desireless intelligence, such a person, in fact, remains constantly without any support in his meditation, and therefore he achieves the Atma. The objects of the senses are like tigers and elephants. People who are not wise, they are the people who get frightened easily. When these unwise, frightened people encounter the tigers of sense objects, they at once seek shelter for achieving control and for concentration, and they penetrate into the interior of the cave of the heart. They go deep down into the cave of the heart in their effort at controlling these tigers and for concentration. However, when the elephants of the sense objects, when they encounter the lion of the desire-free wise persons, then they silently run away. And when they are not able to run away, then they stay to serve such a wise person like sycophants. The sense objects that normally cause disturbances of the mind, they themselves become ingredients of self-realization. And because they themselves become ingredients of self-realization, they are not at all shunned by the wise person. The person whose mind is absorbed in the self or the Atma, all the doubts of such person have died, and therefore he does not take resort to the means of emancipation such as yogic practices. Such a wise person does not practice yoga for emancipation. He lives happily in the world, observing in the world, hearing in the world, touching in the world, smelling in the world, and eating in the world. The emancipated person is not tainted by the normal functioning of the senses. The wise person who has achieved pure consciousness by just hearing the truth of the self or the Atma, and who is tranquil in the self, he makes no difference whatsoever between proper and improper action or between inaction. For such a one, there is no difference whatsoever between action and inaction, and further, there is no difference whatsoever between proper action and improper action. They are all the same to such a wise one. The unsophisticated person, the wise person, does whatever comes to his lot, whatever comes his way, whether it is good or whether it is bad or evil, as all his actions are innocent like that of a child. Autonomy means overcoming the realm, overcoming the domain of relativity. It means going beyond the domain of relativity. Through autonomy, that is, by going beyond the domain of relativity, a person achieves happiness. Through autonomy, a person attains the supreme. Through autonomy, a person attains repose, and through autonomy, a person reaches the supreme state, the highest state. As soon as a person comprehends, as soon as he understands that his self or the Atma is neither the doer of anything nor is it the enjoyer of anything, then all the fluctuations of mind of such a person are extinguished. The wise man's conduct, though it is unrestrained and natural, shines forth, but not the artificial, the unnatural serenity of the ignorant one whose mind is filled with desire. The wise people are free from imaginings. They do not indulge in imagining things. They are unfettered in their intelligence and they are unbound. They are totally free. They may sport, they may play in great enjoyment, or they may take resort to the solitude of mountain caves. It is all the same for them. The wise person is a samdarshi. That is, he sees the same in all. He considers all to be the same. And because he sees the same in all, no desire springs in the heart of such a wise person when he encounters or when he honors a learned Brahmin, a god, a place of pilgrimage, a woman, a king, or a beloved person. The yogi is not at all agitated when he is scoffed and abused by servants, when he is scorned and abused by them, when he is scorned and abused by sons, by wives, by grandsons, and by other relatives. Scorn and abuse, even of servants and other near and dear ones, does not agitate a yogi at all. Such a yogi is delighted, yet he is not delighted. He is afflicted, yet he is not afflicted. Only one who is like him can appreciate his marvelous condition. Yes, only another person who is like him can appreciate his marvelous condition. This concludes part 15 of the Ashtavakra Gita, that consists of verses 43 to 56 of chapter 18. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.